Hey, what's going on, guys? This is my first video. My name is Seth. This channel is going to be called Take Notice. It's going to be raising public awareness for issues that I think aren't really talked about. Before I begin, please like and subscribe, and I'll keep making more videos. But the first issue I really want to talk about is a company called Sigcor. It's a sales organization out in California. Now, the reason I believe this is such a big issue is because it attracts a lot of individuals to it, especially kids fresh out of college with a lot of student debt that they have to start paying off, and mostly people that are in trouble. And that's what I kind of have a little bit of an issue with it, is they raise false hopes. So I'm just going to be going over some of these things, especially with this company, let you know mostly about it. And the reason that I can talk about it is because I was part of it for a year. I was good at it. I was good at the sales. I had, kind of a small team, but the whole time I was a little fished out by it, and it turned out that it was a little bit worse than what I thought. I actually believed in it for a little bit. So what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to try to make 3 videos to it. Or at least that involves this topic. The first video is going to be about the interview process. The second video is going to be about once you're in Sigcor, like office that's affiliated with Sigcor, what they will do, and then the third video is just going to be questions and answers. Oh, and by the way, if you have any comments or want to ask me some questions, please leave a comment down below. And also, you can send me an email, put it in the link, and I can address it for you. So yeah, the reason I have a big beef with Sigcor is well, let's just say I know a lot of people that had their lives ruined by it. They're not really honest, and it starts with the interview process. So just to give you a clear heads up, what they do is they kind of dominate any websites, especially like job boards, Career Builder, Monstars, Space Jam reference, but Monster, and then yeah, anything like that. And so what they'll do is there'll be like entry-level business management type things that it says you can work your way up. They'll start at entry level, and it's all sales, and you get whatever. But okay, anyway, what Sigcor does is they have a lot of big time clients like Verizon, pretty much any big telecom companies. So Verizon, Comcast, AT&T. They also have some affiliates of what is it, Staples. It's called Quill, I think. I don't know. It's been a year since I've been in this, so I'm trying to remember everything. I did remember the most important parts though, so I'll get to that. And then also they work with like some solar energy company. But so what they do is they'll either do business to business or residential sales. That means door to door. Business to business means you dress up in a suit and tie all day and go business to business. Just exactly how it says. Mostly this is going to be for college kids because I came out of college and joined it. And although I was good at the sales, it kind of left me with, a year of just residential sales experience. And that doesn't get that far. But I have recovered though, so let's get right to it. So, if you see a job posting, okay, and it's for an entry-level marketing position, it will have some weird name. Also, if you go to the website, you will not find out much information about them. They will not have the client name. They will not have what they're selling. They just have a bunch of pictures and it looks like a great opportunity. But that is a Cydcor ICL. An ICL is a independent corporate licensee. Okay, now this means that they are not how should I say this? Sigcor is not directly affiliated with them, I take it. They take money from them. You pay Sigcor. Pretty much what Sigcor offers is to remain legal in this country. They try to, or avoid lawsuits, I should say. I shouldn't say remain legal. But to avoid lawsuits, what they're going to do is they're going to make these ICLs. And these businesses are all over the country. Anything that says entry-level management training, it probably works with a Sigcor office or something like it. And there are other businesses or besides Sigcor that use this model. So I'm going to be going over the interview process. So what happens when you first come into an interview, okay, for one of these things? They're going to be going over, let's see, I'll bring it up. they're going to be going over, well, first is the initial interview where it's like a meet and greet. Then they're going to do a second round where you get to go out on a date and experience the day-to-day operations, and they're going to do a breakdown of their company, which is a bunch of bullshit. Sorry for my language, but it is. And then they're going to do a third round overview. And this is pretty much like a third round, let's see if you actually fit the company type thing, final round interview. It's not. It's just an overview of how the day went, and you'll most likely be hired because that's what they need. During the first initial interview, you're going to go in. They're going to call you in, and you're going to know it's kind of fishy because as soon as you apply, they're going to be giving you a phone call, and they're going to ask you to come in. Or you're not even going to apply, and they're going to call you and ask you to come in. And you're going to go in and just sit there, hand over your resume, and you're going to have a first quick meet and greet, I'd like to say. They're going to ask you some basic questions. Let me put it this way. Any typical interview questions, if you have worked in the workforce, any typical interview question that means absolutely nothing, they will ask. Some of the more experienced ones, they won't. They'll try to seem legit, but they're going to ask it anyway. Oh, and before I go any further, I've tried my hardest to try and find a balance when I'm going to be reporting on this. But in the end, I couldn't. I actually got more upset as I kept thinking about it and trying to make these videos. It just got me more upset. So I'm just going to give it to you straight. Anyway, so initial interview. Sit you in, go over some basic interview questions, then you leave. So if you drove 2 hours, an hour, it doesn't matter. It's going to be 15 minutes. You sit down, you leave. Then they're going to invite you to a second day interview. They're going to try and get you back as soon as possible. So as soon as you're available, they're going to call you in. Okay. Now, what the second round interview is going. They're probably going to tell you to dress warm if you're up in the north and it's cold. If you're doing it during the winter, because you're mostly going to be outside. Okay. Either if you're doing the business to business or the residential, you're going to be going outside and experiencing the day. If it's business to business, you're going to be going around different businesses throughout the territory that they are assigned, walking alongside them and just seeing how things are done. If it's residential, you're going to be going around to neighborhoods, knocking on doors with them, and yeah, you're just going to sit back and watch. So throughout this, the person that's interviewing you is going to try and, well, not try, they're going to be like really friendly towards you. That's what we're told to do. That's what we were told to do. I shouldn't say we're told to because I don't work there anymore, but that's what they were told to do, is go through and be friendly towards them. And you know what? If they weren't friendly, then what they're trying to do is trying to get you to start. Okay, that's the whole purpose, is to get numbers for this thing. So they're going around, whatever, day goes on. Then around lunchtime, they're going to offer to take you to a fast food chain, most likely, and there's a reason for that. I won't get into it, but it's mostly because they're broke. And you're going to go to either Wendy's, McDonald's, whatever, and then they're going to break down the interview for you. So, the breakdown, have it right here. So, through the breakdown process, you're going to see something like this. They're going to say, alright, so you start with entry level, and then you go to leadership, account manager, whatever the heck it is. So I'm just going to start here. They're going to explain this to you differently, and there's going to be 4 steps, so you don't go ahead of me, but just so you get an idea of what they're going to say. So they're going to start off with entry level, and they're going to say it's 2 to 3 weeks, and then they're going to teach you the system. So you're going to learn the system, and you're also going to be getting paid $300 to $400 a week. Then the big kicker here is that you're in entry level 2 to 3 weeks, and that they're going to emphasize that heavily to get you to join. Or I shouldn't say join, but to hire you. Oh, excuse me. Anyway, then you're going to go into leadership and account manager. Okay, so leadership and account manager, what you're going to be doing is you're going to be there for 6 to 12 months. You're going to be making $500 to $1,000 a week if you're lucky. Alright, so many problems. But then you're going to manage up to 10 people too, and train in second round interview. Going over this, it's just sad because now I have to explain all the flaws in this. Um, so let's just keep on going, and then I will come back to it. So then they're going to go over after you get promoted. Then you get to be an assistant manager. You're going to be there for 3 to 6 months. You're going to make over $1,000. Again, it's not going to be exactly like this because every ICL tells you something different. So most of the time, though, from what I heard from other offices, they're all basically this. Most other offices say this exactly. But 3 to 6 months, $1,000, and then you're going to manage up to 12 people and do initial and third round interviews. Then you're going to get to be a manager, and it's going to be gravy from there because you're going to get to run your own office. You're going to get to choose your city or campaign. More like they're going to tell you where you're going, and yeah, the money. So from my interview, and the reason I don't want to say anything here because I don't want to, I guess misguide anyone. I know from my interview they said I was going to be making between $80,000 and $120,000 a year. Maybe that's how much I was going to make, not how much I was, or how much money my business was going to make, not how much money I was going to make. They won't tell you that. But yeah, so I'm just going to say the money depends. It's going to be a large figure, though. They're going to try to say it's a large figure. Um, so I'm just going to go back and tell you what really happens. And then I'm going to get on to some other, one more slide before I end this video. So, and this is going to be much easier for me to explain the layout of Sigcor, or these ICLs as well. So the entry level position, you are going to wake up every day early. You're going to drive. If you're an hour away from work, you're going to be waking up probably around like 8. You're going to leave at 9. You're probably going to get in around like 10, 10:30, and you're going to start. You're going to have to sit through some training, which is about an hour before the actual office day begins. And by the way, these office days like start around 12. They start a lot earlier if they're business to business because obviously businesses are only open until 5. So either way, you're going to be working extremely long hours. So entry level, you're going to be there for 2 to 3 weeks. Now, this is if you're lucky. I was in entry level, I believe, for 3 weeks, or I got promoted my third week. Yeah, I got promoted my third week. But I mean, I was pretty good at the sales. I've seen people go for 3 months in entry level. I've seen most people go for 2 months. I would say a month and a half, 2 months is the norm. And then some people get promoted like right away. It honestly depends on what territory you're in. We'll talk so many things to talk about, but we'll talk about territory later. And then also, like I said, you're going to learn the system in these in entry level because they're going to be going over some of the things, some of the basics. Just they're going to teach you a sales system, which does help. I mean, it's not a bad sales system. Obviously, that you use it, and it will make you a better salesperson. And then the $300 to $400 a week, they're going to promise you a bonus, so you better be on time because usually the bonus is $300 after your first 2 weeks. That's pretty much going to cover your gas. But entry level, all right, listen, if you're an entry level and you make $300 to $400 in a week, you're probably going to get promoted. But if you don't, then that's all you're going to be making. That's before tax too. So you're not going to be getting paid that much at all. $300, maybe $200 entry level. I mean, it's rare for someone to come in and make a lot of sales. It's really rare. I've hardly seen. I've seen it like probably like 4 times in a whole year being there, where someone just comes in and makes like $600, $700, and there's obviously a reason for that. But entry level, yeah, you're probably. I always change that when I interviewed people to 200 because it's just more correct. Then you're gonna go on to being a leadership account manager. Um, so in leadership, you're going to be making the thing that sticks out for me the most is $500 to $1,000 a week. There's no perks of being promoted. You don't get paid more. It's the same thing as entry level, except now you have to train people and do second round interviews. That means you have to take people out. Your day's shortened. You have to manage up to 10 people. It's ridiculous. You don't get paid more. you don't get paid more at all. You work harder and you don't get paid more. And the fact is, $500 to $1,000. I mean, you if you get between, like, I was always at around like 600, and I was considered really good. I made almost a sale a day, which is really hard to do. And I'm not trying to brag. I'm just being honest. Not everyone does that at all. You'd be lucky if you make $500 a week. Some weeks you'll make $1,000, and then some weeks you'll make literally 200, and that's just how it goes. Now that might average out to being something, but it doesn't happen really. You're going to be making like, honestly, you're going to be making around like when you get your paycheck a week, you probably be lucky if you made like 330 a week on average. Um, to break it down for you, most people and these payouts also depend on the campaign. And there's so much to get to, but these payouts do depend on the campaign. But usually, you're going to be walking away with $400 being made in a week and a $300 paycheck in a week. And this is not and yeah, this is just what you make in 1 week. So you're making like $600 if lucky every 2 weeks, maybe a little bit more. But yeah, and you're working. Well, we'll get to it. So to move on, assistant manager, you're gonna be there for like 3 to 6 months. That is crap. That is crap. Oh, you know what else is crap? The 6 to 12 months. It's not 6 to 12 months at all, at all. It's I've never seen anyone get promoted in 6 to 12 months from being there. I've heard of people doing it, but only heard, and it's really rare. It's mostly more than a year. Probably a year and a half I've seen is probably the average. Yeah, definitely a year and a half from what I've experienced and heard from everyone. So then, to move on, you get to assistant manager. Um, they say you're going to be there for 3 to 6 months. That's about right. They'll probably have you out in less than a year. Probably like 6 to 8 months is probably more accurate, but that doesn't matter. Let's just keep going. $1,000 plus, that's bullshit. Another thing that is just totally wrong is assistant manager. You're going to be making probably, because you have to do, like, look what it says out there, manage 12 plus people, do initial and third round interviews. You're going to be really busy. Your day is cut down as a sales. You're probably not going to, $1,000 more is actually not, you might not even make, you're probably not going to make as much as you do at the position before. So again, but you will get perks for your team, which they're going to say, but that's also wrong. Then you get to become a manager, and this is where it just gets fun. So you get to run an office. To be a manager, you need $10,000 saved up. They say that you get $10,000 saved up from your team, but that $10,000 is not yours. That's just $10,000 your manager at the time is putting aside, and he'll decide when you get to leave. So true though. And then manager, you get to run the office. What you do, you take about like 5 people with you from previous. Now here's the fun thing: you get to choose a city or campaign. Now this is what most interviews will tell you. And that is a load of garbage. You don't get to choose a city or choose a campaign. In fact, you are definitely going to be on the same campaign you're on because they're going to tell you that they want to stick you with something that you're used to. Listen, they might stick you with a telecom service, but you're not going to go to, like, if you find a great market and you're like, oh, this would do really well, you're not going to get to go there. They're not going to send you there. If you're a brand new manager, they're going to stick you somewhere that's like below, like, it's pretty challenging. It's pretty challenging to grow an office there, or at least they think so. And then also the money that you make, your manager is not going to, whoever's interviewing you, this manager, ask him for his pay stub and tell me what you think. And make sure he's not like a head honcho in the Sigcor business, because you'll be surprised how much money they actually make. You don't make that much money. You actually have to save. You have to put a lot of your money back into the business to keep it afloat at first, and even after that, you still got to. So they're not going to be making too much unless their business just starts booming. But we'll get to that after. Now, things that and this is huge. They're going to try to avoid all these answers. Okay, so make sure you ask, hey, how many days a week do you work? Here's the truth. You work 6 days a week. You work Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. You work over 8 hours a day. You work 10 hours a day on those days. And then on Saturday, you're going to be called in to work. Now, if you're on business to business, you don't have to work Saturdays. That is a perk of working the business to business campaign, but it's also harder. So good luck making a lot of money there. But yeah, so they get to call you in to work on Saturday. They're going to say because a lot of people are home on Saturday for the residential campaign, but yeah, whatever. It's still a pain in the butt. So you have to get called in on Saturdays. You have to go in early. They want you to stay out till like 3 or 5 o'clock. So really, you don't have you have one day off during the week, and you probably have accumulated about 15 hours of overtime pay during the week, which you won't get paid for. Listen, this is another thing that comes up that I hated saying. I was told to say it. I'm so sorry. It's no base, okay? So if you ask a question, is this straight commission? Some offices will tell you flat out, yes, it's straight commission. Some offices will be like, no, it's base and commission. It's an option that you get to choose, but everyone gets to go. Everyone goes commission because it's, you get more money. Bull. That is such crap. Such crap. It's all commission. It is all commission. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. This company does not have the money or care enough about you to give you a base salary. There are no benefits, by the way. There are no benefits. You have no benefits in this job. They'll say that there's options. Rarely are there options. There's no reimbursements. You get to pay for all your gas. Some campaigns, you'll be driving almost an hour. Even if you're driving 20 minutes, that's still 40 minutes in a day. And that's just to and from work. Because I forgot to even mention, after the day's over, you have to go back. And you have to pretty much report your numbers. And you do some other weird stuff, but whatever. Now, here's the biggest thing, and I will say this to any college grad or anyone applying for a job or going into a job. When you sign at-will employment, okay, you are pretty much saying that you can be fired for whatever reason, pretty much any reason possible, okay? So if you mess up, they will fire you. Now, this is actually a good thing for I would say if you get fired from this job is a good thing. It's a great thing. You should. I hope people get fired from this job because it's going to save them a lot of time and money, and they're going to get to move on to bigger and better things. But at will employment, the reason Sigcor has you sign this isn't because they don't want to fire you. They want to protect themselves in case something bad happens. If you lie during like a sale, then they want to fire you. However, it goes bigger than this. The reason that you sign an at will employment is to protect, not only to protect themselves, but because they can make you work extra hours and you don't get anything for it. You're choosing to work there. So they can tell you to do whatever they want to do and have an excuse to fire you, or at least threaten to fire you, and you can't say anything about it. Not only that, but in case you're out in the field, they call it, in your territory, and let's say your car gets towed, let's say the cop pulls you over. They're probably going to deal with it, but they aren't liable for it. You are in trouble if that happens. I've seen it happen. I've seen it happen multiple times. My car got towed from the office, and they didn't pay me back for it. $180 I had to pay the guy to get the car done. Ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous. That's why you sign the at-will employment. But this is just the interview process, what they're going to say. And this is just basically kind of the truth of what you're going to be encountering. So in case if you just went on an interview, I'm glad you're watching this video because this is what you're dealing with and no one should really deal with this. Just walk away before you get started. Just to conclude, the biggest reason I'm doing this video is just to get people aware of what the Sigcor does. And the biggest problem I have with it is, one, they don't tell you these things, and two, as you go along, they'll pursue you to keep going because everyone believes in it, and it's not true. And I'm going to get to that on my second video. But please, if you have any questions, please don't be afraid to comment and ask. If you like this video, please like and subscribe. I will be doing more videos on this. But yeah, just make sure that you tell everyone about it, and I'm going to be going more in depth on my second video, so please remember to like and subscribe, and thanks for watching. This is Take Notice.